What's happened, everybody? All right. So, cash flow. There are a lot of guys still out here that are operating on their own cash. Personally, I don't think that's a great business decision, but that's just how I run my business. Because I look at cash flow and I see how these other folks are being affected. Here, this camera's all out of whack. My other camera is taking a break, so we'll have to use this one. And it's kind of off kilter, right? So we'll try to get it straight for all you people that might get annoyed because it's crooked or something. Explain, says Scribe, cash flow. Well, here's the thing. If you're a one truck operator and you say, yeah, I could cash flow this whole thing myself, do not kid yourself. If you have a line of credit from your bank, you're not cash flowing nothing. You're using them as a factoring company. But there is one big difference. And if you use a credit card to buy your fuel, that's another huge no-no. Because people say, oh, well, I pay that credit card off every single month. Okay, prove it to me. Show me you're paying it off every single month. Especially if your truck breaks down or something else happens, I guarantee you they're not writing that check for that fuel. They're letting it go over and they're paying the interest on it. Oh, wait. Oh, I guess that would be considered a fee, would it not? Oh, no, sorry. It's not a fee. That's interest. It's not. Factoring companies is a fee. Your credit card that you're buying your fuel, that's interest. Why? Because after 30 days, you don't pay off that balance, you get charged interest. And you go another 30 days, you get charged interest on top of the remaining balance plus whatever else you put on there. That's when you get yourself in trouble. Because it's like, oh, I don't use factoring companies, I just fund it all myself. Ha! If you're using a line of credit or your credit card, you're not factoring it yourself. You're using more expensive means to keep your business running. And those means will get you in trouble. They will get you in trouble fast. Because human nature is this. If you're not making the money, truck breaks, you got to pay for the truck, you don't pay those bills. You start picking bills that you're going to pay later. To where if you were factoring those loads, you would have the cash. Oh, wait. What do you mean you'd have the cash? What do you mean? Because if you had, let's say Scribe, if you had 30, he says 30,000 liquid in the bank for maintenance, right? Thunder funding at 30. Okay, so let's say if you were doing it yourself and you did, we use a modern age whiteboard here. Let's say you did $30,000 in revenue that month. And you're hoping that they pay 30-day net, right? You're hoping. Well, you go up and you do this. So let's say the first week you do 5,000. The second week you do 10,000. The third week, fourth week you do 10,000, and the third week you do 5,000. Now, at the 30-day mark, you got $30,000 out of your bank account. You're letting people use your money, hold on to your money for no interest, nothing. You don't even know these people. You don't know them. You've talked to them on the phone, and you're going to let them keep $30,000 of your money. You're going to let them keep it and hold on to it. And hopefully they send you a paper check. But, so let's look at this scenario. If you were with a funding company, let's say like Thunder Funding, right? Because that's who we use. Best in the business, in my opinion. Call them, tell them we sent you. That's all you got to do. Get a good rate, great fuel card. But let's take a look at a scenario. With underfunding, whatever your percentage is, 3%, 2.75, whatever, the more business you do, you can probably negotiate a better rate. But we'll just say 3%. What's up, Digital Pam? Alaska trucker in the house. What's going on? That's the Dean calling in. He'll have to wait. So let's take a look at this. If, let's say you're at a 3% fee. Let's just say that's what it is. We don't know what it is. We're just going to use it for simple numbers. You could even put, 2.5, 2.75, whatever it is. In that month, if you do that, on this right here, you're going to pay $900, right? That's what you're going to pay in that fee, but you have your money after every single load. Cash flows there. You're not using your own. Now, also in this revenue, we'll make it say the guy did 14,000 miles, 7 miles a gallon. That's 2,000 gallons of fuel, right? 2,000 gallons of fuel. He hasn't got no money yet. He pays $3.50 a gallon. That's another $7,000. So in 30 days, he's got $30,000 in rate cons out there and another $7,000 in fuel. So now his business money cash flow is at a minus $37,000 at that 30-day mark. Now you tell me how that's great business. Okay? He's minus 30,000. Take that off there. I don't need to hear nothing. He's at minus 30,000. 37 grand after fuel. That don't include anything else. That don't include any maintenance or anything. That's 37,000. If he had some maintenance in there, let's say a couple blowing tires or something, he could be at minus 40,000. Now, his 30-day on this $5,000 note might be at 37 days. Okay? So another week, let's say he does another 10,000 on this 5th week. He does 10 grand. At the end of that week, he's at minus 47,000 and probably another, let's say 4,000 miles. We'll just do it at 250 miles, say 4,000 miles. Fast math, he needs about 600 gallons of fuel to do that. So that's another 2,100. We'll just cap it at 2 grand. So then he's another minus 2,000 for fuel. This is rate cons. This is fuel. So now he's at a minus $49,000. Okay. Then he gets this $5,000 comes in. So he's still at a minus 45,000. But let's say this 10,000 here, right? He goes a 6 week. He does another 10 grand. Now he's at a minus 55,000. Plus, we'll say the same fuel, 2,000. So he's minus 57,000. See how you get in trouble pretty quick? Because now this one here doesn't pay in 30 days. They say they didn't get the bills. They couldn't read them right or whatever. So this turns into a 40-day pay. Say it turns into a 40-day pay. So that goes down here below this one, this 10 grand. Right, so he gets another 5, he's down to 52. He does another 10, so he's minus with the fuel, let's say it's another 12,000 there. So he's at a minus 64K, but he finally gets this 10, he's at a minus 54K. You see how that works? You see how you just keep going further and further in the hole. Then he has an $18,000 breakdown. Bam! His DF system goes out. He doesn't have the money. Why? Because he's got, we'll clear this out. Why he has no money left is because he's got $54,000 that other people, you're supposed to use other people's money, not let other people use your money. That's the mental of the business. I don't understand that. If you fund this yourself, you're letting other people use your money, but you're getting zero in return for it. You don't loan other people money for zero. Because that's what you're doing. You're loaning your money. You're doing it for zero. You go to the bank. Are they going to loan you $54,000? Ponzi. Oh, here's my brother. Ponzi. Let me ask Ponzi. Ponzi's the bankster. He knows. He knows all about banksters. Ponzi. What's the chances of a bank giving you $54,000 at this rate? Right there. Just for indefinite. Let's say 50, 60 days. What's the chance of a bank going to give you 54 grand? What's the chances? What's the chances of a bank going to give you 54 grand and let you have it for zero? Absolute, yeah, exactly. Absolute zero. So here's this guy, comes out here and he's bragging that, he's doing it all himself, but he's 54,000 waiting on those back rate cons to be paid. But then he has a breakdown at 18 grand. So you go minus 18 grand. So now out of his bank account, he's got $72,000 that he's in the minus with, not including fuel. As you can see, this can go faster and faster to the negative. And pretty soon, this keeps up. Then what happens? The business fails. Right? Because the bow will break. Sooner or later, you keep act like it's a ship, right? Act like it's a rowboat. You got this rowboat, and I can't draw very well. So, you have this little rowboat here, right? You got this little rowboat here, and these are rocks. So you keep piling these rocks in this rowboat. And here's the water, As you keep piling these rocks, here's the water, here's the water, here's the water. Exactly, pigtail. You have no operating income. A lot of these companies have a 30-day billing cycle, but it's submitted 15 days into the billing cycle, then there's only 15 days to get paid. It works both ways. Some do, Stuart, but not all. And it doesn't matter if it's 15 days. We're in an economy right now where a lot of these brokers aren't even paying. They're waiting 40 and 50 days. How do I know this? Because if you're using a funding company, you will know. You will know that right now, some of the biggest brokerage firms are taking longer to pay. So the smaller guy is taking even longer to pay. Just because they have a billing cycle doesn't mean you're going to get paid. That doesn't mean anything. Because I have one to where they say they paid in 14 days, and it's going on 60 days. 60. We finally got our money. How did we get the money? Because we use a factoring company. That's how we got the money. And we use a good one. Because I get their emails. So they sent them letters saying this. Credit report action. Can I do that? Absolutely not. Don't have the first place to go to do their credit report. Don't have the access to go do that. But the funding companies do. So then they start doing this. So when you look them up on the websites for worthiness, all of a sudden you'll see no buys, late pay, etc., etc., etc. And then you'll see their 30-day to pay. Let's say they had $1,000 here, or $10,000, or let's say $10,000 all the time. And then all of a sudden you'll see the 40-day come, and now it's $30,000. And then you'll see the 50-day come, and it's $100,000. And then you'll see the 60-day out here, and it's $200,000. Which means stop hauling. But if you factor your own money, you don't have access to, like our funding company at Thunder gives us access to a network, a factoring network, to where we go in there and we can check the credit reports of brokers. So you're doing it yourself, if you don't have that hookup, you don't know. You don't know that this company is going under or having a problem. You do 60 days later when you still haven't got your money. And you probably won't collect it, because if you're the small guy, they know that you can't do nothing to them. So, and then if you have multiple trucks and you're funding yourself, that's throwing your money down the bank there, because you can ask Ponzi. If you were factoring, let's take a company with some trucks, right? So let's say I know a lady, she has a lot of trucks, and she factors a lot of money. I gotta go turn the water on here. She factors a lot of money. So let's say she factors $500,000 a month. Now, if she did it herself, plus fuel, so let's say her fuel is $100K a month for the fuel. So she's got $600,000 outlay out there a month. You better have at least 2 months in the bank held out. So if she's holding on $1 million too, this is her held funds to operate the business. We'll call it OB, operate the business. Just her operating capital. She's holding on to this instead of using a factoring company to do this. She could invest this $1.2 million. Ponzi, tell them a percentage, an easy percentage rate that you could make yourself in the market with some pretty safe bets you can make on $1.2 million per month, percentage per month. I'll be back. All right, so we know it's not easy, and it does take some screen time. Too many can't cipher very well, then go to charging sheets and their credit cards, blah, blah, blah. I'm pulling 2% a day easy. Okay, so let's say if this person we're going to use 2%. Okay, that's a good easy number. So if you can do 2% a day, if you're doing this amount of money, I can guarantee you that you're going to get 1.5 to 2% factoring fee. So in other words, if you take your money and invest it instead of trying to use your money to operate your business, you invest it and you're getting 2% a day, guess what? The money you make off this right here, your factoring fee is 0. Because you're making it. And if you get lower like this, you're making 0.5% a day on your money, and you have all of it. It's not in other people's banks. You're waiting to get your money back. You have it all. And it's costing you nothing because you're making the percentage that it would cost you to factor it. Actually, you're making more because you have to double this to make sure you have enough money. So you're making actually more because you're only doing about 2% on this money here, which 2% on 500K is 10 grand, right? But you're making 2% on this, which is 24 grand. So you got a positive $14,000. So if you use a factoring company to factor your $500,000 of receivables that are out there, and it pays for your fuel costs because you're using that money that comes in as cash flow to fund this fuel bill right here. You're going to fund that. You will make $14,000 every single month on your money instead of spending your money and letting somebody that you don't know in North Carolina, Ohio, West Virginia, California, or wherever they're at, holding your money, and you're waiting for it. Cash is king. That's right, baby. Cash is king. You would actually make $14,000. You could probably make a whole lot more than that, or even if you made half of that, it's all profit. You're actually increasing your business's net worth instead of decreasing your business's net worth. Increasing cash flow, if you use the funding company, this is what the funding company will bring you, right? This is the advantage. And we can prove them all wrong. All the naysayers, we don't care. And you got to use a good factoring company. And there's one out there that I don't even like, but a lot of people talk about it. And the one that really pushes it doesn't really. We'll get into that later. So the advantage is cash flow. And you use your money to make money. So you're using other people's money instead of using your own. And when you use other people's money, that means you make money. Because you're using yours. If you're smart, you use yours and invest it. You don't take yours and just go spend it. You invest it. And if you do need, exactly right. And if you do need money, the banks see your cash flow and will lend you a lower rate. Correct. I get probably 300 or 400 emails a day saying I'm approved for, whatever money they say. Approved, but I never call them. I get calls all the time. I said, not looking for the cash. Why? Because I use Thunder funding. Right? We use Thunder. Used Thunder since day one. I have other funding companies trying to get my business. I tell them absolutely not. Because I'm with the best company in the business. So there you go. We use other people's money and we take our money and invest it. And we make more money than what our funding fee is. And the best thing about it is we still have our money. We're not keep going further and further in the hole, waiting on Mr. Broker. We're not waiting for them. Because we all know some pay right away, some don't. Some use the excuse, the bill was blurry, we couldn't read it. Well, you could have told us. 30 days later, you're supposed to get paid. No, the bill was blurry, couldn't read it. So then you send them the bill. Guess what? That could start a new 30 days. Could it not? And then they could also hit you with, if it's in the rate con, they could hit you with a $250 charge or $150 charge for not having your bills within 48 hours. Because they got to have legible bills in 48 hours. There's all kinds of sneaky ways to get your money, to reduce the rate. That's right, Ponzi. You're in control and no one else is driving your truck. And right there, never risk what you don't have. Because if you fund it yourself and you don't have the money and you have a hard time paying bills, you shouldn't be funding nothing yourself. So it's not too late. If you're funding yourself and you're in a hole, gather up all those rate cons, invoices, everything, call Thunder Funding up. Say, hey, can you buy my book of business? Here's all the stuff. I'm having a hard time collecting from them. If they buy that book of business, then they'll send it to them with the notice of assignment. And you get your money and you don't have to worry about it. Let them worry about it. They're professionals at it. Are you a professional bill collector? And what are you giving up? The most important commodity, the most expensive commodity that you have. You're giving up this commodity right here. Time. That's what you're giving up. What's time worth? Time to me is worth a lot of money. Now, Pigtail, you could do 2%. I can do 2% a day, easy. Easy. I trade about every day. I trade small portions many times a day, and for instance, like on the channel that I started, let's say you buy the SPY. Let's say you trade SPY, and you trade the call and put options. Okay. So, and you trade the expiration date today. Always today. Not tomorrow, not a week later, the today ones. Why? Because they're really cheap. So, for instance, if SPY was at, let's say, $410 per share, and you said, and it's start ticking up, you said, I want the $4.12 per share, $412 per share option. The cost with that would probably be about 40 cents a share. And if you're doing one contract, that's 100 shares, that's $40. So you have $40 invested, and if this thing goes from 410, well, it's 412 would be up here, right? Because it's going up. If it goes up to 411, 412, then this cost per share goes up. So this could go up to, let's say, $2.40. You sell it at the top, which you probably wouldn't. You'd probably sell it when it got to $1.40, which means you would have $140, which means you spent 40, but you make 140, which is a 300% gain on that little bit of money. Now, to make a 2% gain on $40, doesn't have to move very far. 10% gain is $4, right? $4. Well, if this goes to $4.10.25, you're going to be at your $4 and out. So in this scenario, if I want to make $4 on that 40, I'm probably in this trade for probably 30 seconds to a minute. Am I right, Ponzi? I'm only going to be in that trade for about 30 seconds to a minute. Because if you watch the SPY, the S&P 500, it goes up and down pretty fast. So I'm only going to be in there less than a minute to get this $4 gain, if that's what I was looking for. Well, of course you could take a loss. That's right, it's called scalping, right. It's called scalping. But the thing of it is, Stuart, is why would you want to take $500,000 of your own money and let brokers all over the country control your money for 0% interest and you wait 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 days to get it back? Why? No business does that. You look at some of the biggest trucking companies out there. They don't do that. They use other people's money because they get it for cheap. And they invest their money. Because you don't take, and Ponzi will tell you this, if you have 500K, you're not going to invest all that at one time. You're just not going to. You're not going to put all your cards on the table. You're not going to take that 500 and do that, right? You're not going to invest the whole thing. You're going to invest a percentage of it. That way, if you guess wrong on the movement, and if you bought time, then you have time for it to move back up to either cash back out or get the gain. That's right, Ponzi, right? You can't do it unless you have cash. And that's why a lot of people don't do this game, is because they don't keep the cash to do the game. That's right, or you can have it hedged. You can do all kinds of things with it, right? You can do all kinds of things. You don't do quick schemes like you don't sit there and put all your money in a Carvana. That's pretty much bankrupt, but their stock goes from $3.50 on up to $17 in 1 week, and then falls back down to $10.50, and then goes back up to $11.50. And then, because what happens is, you say, oh wow, this thing's going to go to 20. Well, you buy in up here, next thing you know, it drops like this and you're at 10.50. And you didn't put in a stop loss. So there's lots of things you got to learn before you get out there and run with this. But if you do it wisely, small increments, you can cut into that 1.5% or 2% fee. Too volatile. That to me, that makes no sense. It's not volatile. Then don't drive a truck. Don't be in business. Because every business you could say is too volatile. Look at the trucking industry. Why are people owner-operators? It's too volatile. Right? If you're going to use volatile, you go from $4 per mile to $2 per mile. That's no difference from a stock going from $10 down to $8. Either way, you lose money. Because you were doing 2,000 miles at this, give you $8,000, and then 6 months later, you're doing 2,000 miles for this, $4,000. You just went 50% down. So you got to have volatility to make money. Without volatility, you don't make the money. Because when it's way up here, you cash in. When it's way down here, you start doing little things a little thinner, right? Same thing with the stock market, volatility. But the good thing with the stock market is something you can't do in any other business. And what's that? Exactly, pigtail, depends on your risk tolerance. Some people have a low risk tolerance, some people have a high risk tolerance. It all depends. But there's a thing. When you invest your money like this, you can make money when the market goes up, and you can make money when the market goes down. You can make money both ways. You can make it both ways. Stock market could, see, if the stock market dumped 50% today, I'd be happy because I'd be making tons of money. Just like when COVID hit, market took a huge hit. Same thing when any type of disaster, stock market takes a hit, and if you have the money, of course you won't have it if you're factoring everything yourself, because your banks are, if you got that $500,000 out there, you're minus $500,000. But if you got that $500,000 on the sideline sitting here, right? Because let's say your risk tolerance is low, so you say, okay, I got 500,000 there, but I'm only going to risk 50K trading. That's all I'm doing. But the other 450 is sitting there, and then when COVID hit and that market goes down, 4,000 points, something like that, whatever it was, it goes down. Guess what? You're there at the bottom. You purchase and look at, bam. Just like Tesla, right? You can go back and look at Tesla. Tesla last week, about 2 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, was down to $110 a share. Right here, $110 per share. It fell all the way down to $110 per share. Now, a week and a half later, it went to $215 per share. And today I think it closed around 197 or 196. I watched it for a little bit today, but it was trading in this range. But in less than a week and a half, it goes from 110 to 250. It's $115 per share rise. And if you're in trucking, look at trucking stocks. Because trucking. You know what they're going to do. The brokers are going to make tons of money in this time frame. Right? They're going to make tons of money. And so are the big trucking companies. So if you take a look at Schneider is around, let me see, they got as high as $30.53 just a little while ago. They were down around the $24 mark. They rose up to this. They came back down today. I think they were around $28.53, and I think they went up to around 29 and we'll just say a quarter, some change. So they almost had a dollar move from this low here to here. They almost had a dollar move. But it's a trucking company. You know that their price target is probably going to be somewhere over the next 6 months. It's going to be somewhere around $34 per share. Because they're not going to fall down, because they're going to keep making money. So that's a pretty good return on your money if they go up there within the 6 months. Do the percentage on that. If you want to look at, like a broker side, look at Art Best. They're up there like 100 and I don't know. I think they're around $110 per share or something like that. They're up there a ways. You got Swift Knight. They're up there. You got JB Hunt. JB Hunt's in the hundreds. It's a 100+ stock, I believe. Last time I looked, I think. So you got these stocks here. JB, SNDR is Schneider. You got Schneider. The biggest one that I always play is this. IoT. Anybody know what IoT stands for? This stock was a great money maker because their financials are good. They're just going to keep getting bigger and bigger in the business. We all know, ELDs are there to stay. And as more and more ELD companies get phased out because the FMCSA says they're not legal anymore because they can't keep track, more people are going to go to this company right here. Internet of Things, right? This stands for Samsara. And Samsara, when they first come out, they were in the 20s and they went all the way up to like $30 per share. And they fell all the way back down to about $9 per share, a couple months ago. That's where they were at a couple months ago. Then they started on a rise, back up. Right? They got to 10, they got to 11, they got to 12, 13, 14, 15. They're close to 16 today. I think they closed at 15.80 or so. I don't know, but they're close to $16 again. So, just about 2 months ago, Bureau said, hey, they're not going lower than 9 because if you look at their filings and everything, they were way, way undervalued at this point. So if you bought in, whether you bought the shares or bought long options, right now you're setting close to 16 over here. That's a $7 per share increase. So basically what I'm saying is if you put $9,000 into that stock at $9, $9,000 investment, that's your risk tolerance. Right now, if you hold long and didn't swing trade it, right now, if it's at 16, you'd have 16,000 or $7,000. But if you trade the stocks and you know the business you're in, trade those stocks. So, if you're in the oil field business, you trade the oil stocks. If you're in the trucking business, research all the trucking companies because you know them. You got your hand on the pulse of the trucking industry. Trade the trucking stocks. Trade the technology that trucks use. So if you like Landstar, Schneider, JB, Knight Swift, Art Best, Warner, look at all the stocks that are publicly traded, and then look at this stuff here. Find out which ELD providers everything have stocks. And you trade what you know. You don't trade what you don't know. If you trade what you don't know and you're listening to other people and what they think they know, you're probably going to lose your money. But if you've been in the trucking business and you know these trucking companies keep making more and more money, just like the brokers, right? C.H. Robinson, TQL and all these, look at all the different brokers out there, the mega brokers, look at their stocks, look at their fundamentals, and trade those stocks. Now, you could, if you'd have bought down here, you could do a step approach on getting money out. So let's say you said, okay, when this stock goes up $3 and hits $13, right? And this is the stair step approach. So if IoT is at, let's say $9 and you buy it, It's where you bought it. And you want to make $3. It goes up to 12. Right here, you take 25% out. And you say, okay, when it goes up another $3, that's 15. I'm going to take 50% out. So now you only have 25% left. So if it keeps rising up, you don't miss that big move. You still have some skin in the game. But if it starts going down, you could sell the other 25% and still have a good profit. You don't take all your shares and just keep riding up, because this is what's bad about the market. And if you have your stuff in a retirement fund, this is why a lot of retirement funds don't gain a whole lot, is because when there's a big correction in the market, because they go up. So some guy says, "Oh, I got 20 grand, man, in my stock market account," and it goes all the way up in his retirement. And he's like, "I'm at 50K now. I've only had 20 in there, and I'm at 50." And then 2 or 3 years later, they're at 27 because the market had a correction. And he couldn't sell it up here because he had no control over it. But that's how it works, right? If you have a retirement account, you'll know. You'll see it. It goes like this. Just up and down, up and down, up and down. And you might have some higher highs right here in your thing, and then you might start having lower lows. And there was your initial investment. So that's just another way. I use a funding company so that way I can use my money to make money. I don't let other people hold on to my reserves. That's not gonna happen. All right, thanks for watching. Like I said, if you guys want a great factoring company, then give Thunder a call. We'll do it on a whiteboard. Everybody likes the whiteboard. 4140. Talk to Scott Kennedy. If he's not there, ask for Evan or somebody, and just tell him Trucking Education Network sent you. And negotiate. Negotiate. Right? Do some negotiation. Let me see if we have something here. I'm gonna get copyright struck. Here we go. Copyright struck coming on. Call Thunder, tell me sent you. There, we'll stop that right there. Maybe they won't get us for a copyright strike on some Thunder. For some reason, you're not supposed to be able to broadcast the sound of thunder on YouTube. Who knows? That's just what they say. Sounds kind of stupid to me, because you can hold your phone outside when it's thundering and just put it in your software and just keep recycling over and over and over. But they say it sounds like some music, I guess. Thanks, Ponzi. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. In your 401k, it's like waiting on a check. Get yours ASAP. And Veterans Trading Group, that's the stock market channel I have. We will try to go live this week on that channel, 9:30 in the morning until about 11:30. Most of the trades, if I do them, are within that 2-hour time block, between 9:30 and 11:30. And I'll do some in pre-market too, but it's usually between 9:30 and 11:30, and we'll cut it off. It's a 2-hour feed. If you want to join in, come watch us, Veteran Trading Group on YouTube. We only got like 40 or 50 subscribers in there, but I have my screen on live, and if I get into a trade, you see it. All right, we'll see you later. Might as well know some thunder music. Let's get copyright struck. Here we go.